Hey y'all, I'm Jaclyn, a bookseller at This Is a Bookstore and Bookbug. I've been sheltering in place for a good long while now, and I have read a handful of the books that were on my immediate to read list. I have done all of the other, like, fill up your time with this thing activities, and I'm really needing to get back to books. First up is Uzumaki. This is a horror manga. I'm not gonna open it because it's truly terrifying. I really enjoyed a short story I saw by Junji Ito. And by really enjoyed, I meant it's haunted me since I saw it as a 16-year-old and I can't get it out of my head. And I've heard this recommended highly by both other booksellers at the bookstore, and also in my early conversations with the man who's now my fiance. So I feel like I should get to that at this point. Another one that's going to go pretty quickly is A Quick and Easy Guide to Queer and Trans Identities. This is a series. I got the other one. Quick and Easy Guide to They Them Pronouns, which I really, really loved. It's truly a guide that's just like very positive and meaningful for people of like, okay, here's something that you don't quite understand. Here's how you can better respect these people and understand their experience, but also recognize that like it's even if it's not something you fully get, you can still be like recognize all of their personhood, and here's how you can do that with these cute little comics. And I'm excited to read the next one in the series. It doesn't come out till May, but I've already pre-ordered it and I'm very excited. I'm also looking forward to reading The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. Oh, hello. It's a bookmark. Aw, look at that. I'm looking forward to reading this book because I really read and enjoyed the first one in the series, the 5th season. It is in a world where there are people who can control like Earth, and not just like, oh, here's a rock that I can make float, but like making earthquakes happen, and they're sort of rejected in a big way by society, and there are all of these seasons where shifts happen. And it's fantasy that's different, and I really need that. Sometimes I feel in other fantasies that shock value is just there for shock value or to be edgy, but all of the stuff that is in the 5th season is really there for an emotional impact that is meaningful, I felt. And as someone who's a fairly sensitive person and sensitive reader, I really appreciate that respect for the reader. I'm also super looking forward to this book, which is not out until May. Martha Wells' Network Effect. I cannot tell you how excited I am to like hold this physical book in my hands. The Murderbot Diaries are a series of novellas about this same main character by Martha Wells. Their name is Murderbot. They named themselves. It's just a robot who hacked their like whatever was keeping them intact to like be controlled by the company, and instead of like going wild and murdering a bunch of people or like skynetting it, they just really want to chill out and watch Netflix and be ignored by humans, but also maybe make connections with humans. And to be honest, I have never related to a robot more in my entire life, and I'm so excited because this is like 3 times the size of all of the novellas, which I just like devoured immediately. And I'm so ready for the novel to come and to read it, and for it to just be out into the world and have it be shareable with people. Another one that I'm very excited about is Veronica Roth's Chosen Ones. You may recognize her name as the author of the young adult Divergent series. I think Carve the Mark was like a sci-fi young adult that she did as well, and I never quite got to that one. But I enjoyed that as a teenager. I like her writing style. But this actually is a book for adults, and as the title might lead you to believe, it is about a group of chosen ones, but it is about the chosen ones after things have been fulfilled, like 10 years down the road. Like one of them dies, and there's a funeral, and they find out there may have been more to the prophecy and that kind of stuff. But it seems to be exploring the idea of like chosen oneness in a more interesting way than like, oh man, we got to get back and defeat the bad guy. Like the characters have PTSD and are dealing with like, oh, my only identity was saving the world for a while, and then I did, which is something that was explored really well in Rainbow Rowell's Wayward Son that I deeply, deeply enjoyed and highly recommend. So I'm hoping that some of those themes come up in this book as well. A book that contains the cute, positive energy that I very much need during this time is Eva Evergreen, Semi-Magical Witch. This is a middle grade novel. I've been reading a fair amount of those lately between The Ship We Built and Here in the Real World, both of which I have greatly enjoyed. I think something about middle readers, especially as an adult, is really nice because they come with a certain amount of like honesty without an adult kind of intensity that is, I don't know, a lot easier for me to process. But also like if it's done well, gives a full recognition of personhood for people at that age. This book in particular has very strong Kiki's Delivery Service vibes. It is about a witch in training who can't quite get magic to work the way she wants, and so to prove that she is like a proper witch, she opens a little magical repair shop, and then hijinks happen. And I'm very excited to see how that comes along because Kiki's Delivery Service is my favorite Studio Ghibli film, and I just need that energy very much, and I'm looking forward to reading this book. Last two books I am looking forward to potentially reading are gifts that I received for Christmas this year. They are Seraphina and A Darker Shade of Magic. Seraphina is a sort of like middle grade YA-ish range about a half girl, half dragon. It is highly recommended by a friend of mine, and I have been told that if I read it, wonderful things will happen. And that's true of a lot of books, but I think there's something special about this one. A Darker Shade of Magic is one that I received for my brother who heard that I wanted to read it like 2 years ago and remembered and noted that I hadn't read it and was just like, well, this one's for you. So thank you, Hudson. It is about a world in which there are multiple Londons, and I'm a big Anglophile. I got into all of that like BBC stuff back in the day, and there is magic going on, and there are only some people who can go between the different Londons. There's like Black London and Red London, and I have only heard good things about V.E. Schwab and her various books in all sorts of genres, and I'm very excited to get through this one. I think the biggest difficulty in all of this is going to be deciding what do I get to next. I already finished The Faceless Old Woman Who Secretly Lives in Your Home and loved it. There is a review for that posted on this channel as well. I have finished a handful of other books as well. I mentioned two middle grade novels earlier, The Ship We Built and Here in the Real World. I'm also currently partway through this whole stack right here. This is not like an aesthetic stack. This is just books that I haven't finished yet but have started in some form or another. So who knows? This is a wild time, but also a good time for book reading if you're in a position like mine where you are at home a lot. And I think that's really neat that there is the potential to read lots of books. If you are in a similar position as I am, let me know what books you might be excited to read. If you are not, let us know over here what books you might recommend during this time, or even what books you wish you could be reading during this time. And thank you for all that you're doing, because boy howdy, you're incredible. Thanks to all for watching, and I will see you soon.